Well, this is another little cheap thing I got for my, basically, this can come in handy in case some of your power adapters even break on some of your electronic devices, like a scanner or something like that. This pretty much has, it'll go from, it's a stupid little thing, but it'll go from like 3 volts, 4.5 volts, 6 volts, 7.5 volts, 9 volts, and 12 volts. And I checked it with the voltmeter, and it does reverse polarity. But I put a piece of tape over there because you don't want to do that, because that could screw things up. So a lot of times, just leave it in the plus position. And you want to check it with the 9-volt battery side, because you could say that's plus, that's minus. Same with this. This would be plus, that would be minus, right? Same like in this. So this would be outside would be minus, and the inside would be plus. That's usually how they are. I got it for my CB radio, and but it could also come in handy in case you got something busted. Like, say, for instance, survival type thing. If you got, your scanner, or just not even a survival thing, just an emergency type thing, a backup thing. Say your scanner doesn't work because the power supply went out on the scanner. Like, sometimes they still have power supplies on it, or something else. It could be anything. It could be an electric appliance or whatever. This thing pretty much will fit a lot of different things. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 different plugs there. 5 with this. And you also have the 9-volt battery picker-upper thing here, right? So, but you also got to watch. Sometimes devices that take a 9-volt battery, if you plug this in it, you might want to use it on 7.5 volts instead of 9 volts, because it might overload the electronics. Sometimes things that are designed for batteries, you want to keep that voltage below the 9 volts. Even though it's a 9-volt battery that's in there, it's not the same as when you plug it into the wall. So, it's worth $10, and then you got this thing that plugs into the electric socket. So if I want to use the CB radio in here without using the batteries, I can. There's nothing going to come inside though. But what I'm going to do though eventually is I just got a whip antenna coming on for the El Camino, and what I'm probably going to do is set up an outside whip antenna with a ground plane. This way I have this CB is going to go in the El Camino. I got another portable one, handheld, that I'll keep in the house. And all you need is a cable coming into the house with the outside antenna on the 20-foot pole with the ground plane, and I'll just be able to plug it in like this and use it. And it will get stuff when you got it outside on a 102 whip antenna. It will get stuff, and it's got the weather band on it. This one doesn't have the weather band, but the Cobra does. But these stupid little things like this, you might want to get them. And what I do is I keep it all in a plastic bag like this, and I hang it up so it's all there. And then the batteries that are in here, I have them disconnected. I use the Panasonic Enelope batteries, and they are low self-discharge. They'll have like 70% of their charge after 5 years. But that is if they're not connected to anything. Even though this thing is off, if you don't do this where you remove the contact from them contacting this thing in here, even though it's off, it'll still drain the batteries somehow. It still does it. So that's why you want to put a piece of paper like that in there. And then this thing I got. I also got the thing for the plug in the speaker and the mic. So when I use this in a car, this one's not bad for the car because you can see this when you turn it on like that. You can see it no problem. And it's just not convenient to pick it up in your hand. So I'll have that plugged into the 102 whip antenna in the car, and then I'll have the mic and the speaker up on the seat belt right in front of me, in front of my mouth, so I can see, I can use it. It'll work just as convenient as one that you have in the dash, but then I can hide this. I can hide it under the seat or something like that. Nobody even know I had it. But this thing's something you want to get. It's not the best solution for everything, but it's good because a lot of times these stupid chargers break, and this one can fix. It could be a great temporary replacement, but also a temporary replacement for a lot of different devices that you might have that require a charger. But normally you want to leave it on a plus. And that's why I got this tape on here, because it's Gorilla Tape. I don't want pushing it this way, because you could damage stuff if you do a reverse polarity a lot of times on things. So, but works great with the CB. So I'm not picking up nothing in here. I mean, the range The range on this thing, from inside the house to outside the house, I think it would be like 100, 200 yards. Outside the house, if you're going from one of these to another one like this, maybe a quarter mile. But when you put that whip antenna on there, especially if you get it up high enough, holy smokes, even these little handhelds do a lot. They do pretty good. But my point is, this thing is not bad to get, and also this, where you can plug the 12 volt into the light socket, you know, the light socket, the wall socket, you know. So, and I did check the voltages on this thing. It was accurate. It was showing all the right voltages all the way across. So, works fine for me, man. So I got it up here on a, you know, right below the cat shelf. So I keep it up there, and that's my little Cobra. So when I get the home antenna, make a home base antenna, I'm going to use that one for the home base. It's got the weather on it and stuff. It doesn't have sideband, but the thing is, that's not that important because other people, the other person has to have sideband for you to listen to them anyway. So who the hell? Not many people got that. So also, I'm going to tell you, I might get another HHO unit, like that $125 one, and I just did a couple videos on it. And there's another video up on, the stuff's going up on BitChute too. I might get another one of those HHO units. Keep one in the bedroom, one in the kitchen, and this way, I'm going to be trying to use this like as much as possible every which way from Sunday, and see what it does for me. So, because I already got the stuff to make. You know, I got the mason jar, the plastic mason jar, the silicone gasket, that little nipple thing, the hose, the shoe glue to freaking make the connection, and a few other things. I already got that stuff, so all I have to do is buy one of them for like $125 and you're done. I'll probably do that later, maybe next month or something. But you want to, because I think that's part of prepping. You want to have good energy. You want to be healthy and strong. And if there's not enough food to go around, well, I'll tell you, I think the hydrogen and HHO is going to be like freaking really good to go to keep you surviving on lower calories. And we'll see how that works out. So, yeah, stupid little things like this, do not forget about them. Don't forget about them, man. And the other thing is, since this runs on 12 volts, all you got to do is have a deep cycle battery, and you can adapt that to the deep cycle battery and then plug it in that way. Because I have a deep cycle battery and other 12 volt batteries and stuff, and I got car batteries that you can just run this. So, and it doesn't take much juice, so you know, you can run it for like a gazillion hours before you run down a deep cycle battery, big one. So, I mean, it's a smart thing to have, because if you don't have electricity, man, you're going to need this thing probably for communication.